On the outside, you look functional, you get things done, you push through. You stay responsible, but inside, something feels disconnected. You scroll your phone after finishing work. You stare at the ceiling. You move from task to task without really arriving anywhere. Even small wins feel flat. You tell yourself, I should feel proud. I should feel motivated. I should feel satisfied. But you don't. Instead, there's a quiet, emotional silence. And over time, this changes how you see yourself. You start thinking, maybe I'm ungrateful. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe something is wrong with me. You make decisions faster just to escape the feeling. You avoid slowing down. You stay busy, not because you love productivity, but because stillness feels uncomfortable. This pattern shows up in your relationships too. You're present, but not fully there. You listen, but part of you feels distant. And when someone asks how you're doing, you say, fine, even though you don't quite know what that means anymore. Psychologically, this isn't burnout. It's something quieter. It's emotional disconnection caused by chronic self-pressure, and most people never realize that's what's happening. But here's the part that matters: you're not broken. This pattern didn't come from nowhere. It formed for a reason. Your brain learned that productivity equals safety. Maybe approval came when you performed. Maybe peace came when you stayed useful. Maybe slowing down once led to disappointment, criticism, or chaos, so your nervous system adapted. It learned, keep moving, keep doing, don't stop. This isn't a flaw, it's an adaptation. Your system built productivity as armor, a way to feel in control, a way to stay ahead of discomfort. But armor gets heavy, and when you wear it all the time, you stop feeling your body. You stop feeling your emotions. You stop feeling your life. That's why the emptiness appears after you finish, because when the motion stops, so does the distraction. And suddenly, you're alone with yourself. Which brings us to what's really happening in your brain. Let's simplify this. Your brain has two main operating modes. One is task mode. The other is meaning mode. Task mode is driven by dopamine. Dopamine doesn't create happiness, it creates pursuit. It's the chemical of next task, next goal. Next, CHECKBOX. Every time you complete something, dopamine spikes briefly. Then it drops, and your brain immediately asks, what's next? Meaning mode is different. It's powered by slower systems involving serotonin and oxytocin. These chemicals help you feel connected, present, and emotionally grounded. But here's the problem. Constant productivity keeps you trapped in task mode. Meaning mode never fully turns on, so your day becomes a series of actions. Without emotional integration, here's a metaphor. Imagine driving all day without ever stopping the engine. You cover distance, but you never arrive. Visual, abstract brain animation, now a simple mental model. Think of your nervous system like a two-lane road. One lane is doing, the other is being. Most modern lives stay almost entirely in the doing lane. When you finally stop, your brain doesn't know how to shift lanes anymore. So instead of peace, you feel emptiness. That emptiness isn't laziness. It's your nervous system saying, I haven't been allowed to feel. And this is why productivity alone never creates fulfillment. Because fulfillment comes from processing experience, not completing tasks. Which leads us to the part you've been waiting for. Not motivation, not mindset tricks, but a psychological framework that reconnects you to yourself. This isn't about doing less. It's about completing the emotional cycle of action. Here are 4 principles. Not habits, not routines, psychological resets. Insert a landing moment after finishing tasks. What to do. After completing something, pause for 30 to 60 seconds, no phone. No next task. Just breathe and notice your body. Visual waves moving slowly. Why it works. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for emotional integration. It tells your brain this experience is complete. Without this, your system stays in chase mode. Real life, after closing your laptop, sit on your bed for 1 minute instead of opening Instagram. Let your body register completion. Name one internal sensation. What to do. Ask quietly, what do I feel right now? Then name it. Heavy, tight, restless, empty. No analysis, just labeling. Why it works. This engages your prefrontal cortex and reduces emotional suppression. Neuroscience calls this effect labeling. It brings unconscious states into awareness. Real life. Standing in the kitchen after cleaning everything, you notice tightness in your chest. You say internally, tight. That's enough. Do one non-productive sensory action. What to do? Touch something warm. Look out a window. Listen to slow music. 5 minutes, no purpose. Visual person touching window glass. Why it works. Sensory input grounds you in the present moment and reactivates meaning mode networks. It reminds your brain you're alive, not just useful. Real life. After finishing work, you make tea and sit quietly instead of jumping to the next task. Separate worth from output. This one is subtle. What to do. Once a day, tell yourself, my value isn't measured by today's productivity. Say it even if you don't believe it yet. Why it works. Repeated statements reshape identity circuits. Over time, through neuroplasticity, you're slowly retraining your self-concept. Real life. On a slow day, instead of mentally punishing yourself, you acknowledge your humanity. That changes everything. Visual notebook with 1 sentence written. These steps don't add more to your life. They return something that's been missing. Your presence. Integration. Here's the model to remember. Action without reflection creates emptiness. You don't feel hollow because you lack discipline. You feel hollow because your nervous system never gets closure. So think in 3 phases. Do, pause, feel. That's it. Not complicated. Do the task. Pause afterward. Feel something, even if it's uncomfortable. That's how experience becomes meaning. That's how effort becomes fulfillment. Visual, abstract circles slowly merging without the pause. Life becomes mechanical. With it, life becomes lived.
Quiet, empowering, close. You don't need to become more productive. You need to become more present inside what you already do. The emptiness you feel isn't a sign of failure. It's a signal, a gentle one. It's your system asking for connection instead of completion. So tonight, when everything is done, don't rush into the next distraction. Sit for a moment. Breathe. Feel your body. Let yourself land. Because you were never meant to be a machine that produces. You were meant to be a human who experiences. Visual. Soft sunlight through window. And sometimes, the most important thing after progress is simply letting yourself arrive.